We're live by the looks of it.
Hi, Vanessa. How are
Hi,
you?
I'm excellent.
Good evening, viewers. Anyone who's joining us, thank you for joining us this evening. It's actually in Vanessa is from Australia, and it is what time in Australia, Vanessa?
10, yeah, 10:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow. So we're almost on the other side. So we're at night and you're day. So
Yep.
welcome, Vanessa, and welcome to our viewers. I just want to thank you for joining us. And Vanessa is going to share with us a little bit about her transition from career to becoming an entrepreneur. She's an unsuccessful entrepreneur here, and we just want to hear from her so that others of us who are thinking about jumping from a career into that fearful stage will not be scared. We had another guest 2 weeks ago, and we're going to be having more. So Vanessa seconds it now. So Vanessa, we're going to jump right in. And the first question is, are you an entrepreneur? And
You
if
know what?
so, what
Yeah,
business are you in?
okay. So I never really thought of myself as that title, an entrepreneur. I've always seen myself as a coach. But of course, as coaches, we basically are running our own businesses and therefore entrepreneurs. But yeah, that's what I do. I'm actually a coach's coach. So I'm a profile builder for coaches, experts, authors, change makers, anyone who needs to get out there and get known. So I help them do that.
Awesome. And that's how I got onto your group as well. Vanessa, you have a very big group. You want to tell them a little bit about your group?
Yeah, my group is called Coaches, Experts, Changemakers Step into the Spotlight. So, of course, with Step in the Spotlight, it is all about all the ways that you can get out there to get your message heard, to get known, so that you make sure that you are attracting leads, clients, and, of course, opportunities to you as well. So, yeah, that's what it's all about. We have 15,500 members at the moment. You've gone on mute again, Shelley. Now you're back.
Okay, good. I don't know, guys. I'm new with this thing and I'm trying to use it and it keeps tripping in and out. So forgive me, but we'll just learn as I go along here. So, Vanessa, 15,000, over 15, almost 16,000 members in your group. That is amazing. Really an achievement there. So, as we go to the next question, what was your profession before you started your business?
Okay, so what I used to do was I was involved with my then husband. So when I was married, we had a company in the mining industry out here in Australia. So what we used to do was go and service the gold mines. So a lot of people won't even know what we did, so I won't go into it at all too much. But I was basically ran the company from home while my husband was the one that would go out to all the big mine sites all over the world. So
Okay.
he did the travel, I stayed home. But basically that's what we did. So I got used to earning a lot of money very, very quickly through the mining industry because I don't know what it's like in the US, but here in Australia, the mining industry at the time was in boom times. So yeah, I could go in, make a lot of money very quickly. So we got that company from, zero to multi-million dollars within 18 months. In fact, even quicker, I think. And I only worked about 3 afternoons a week in the early days. My husband only worked 1 week a month where he would actually go out to the sites.
So you are living the dream that many think of and dream of.
Yeah, it was an illusionary dream though, but in outsiders they thought we had it perfectly. Like we didn't have to work a lot to make a lot of money. The money flowed easily, and I was always outside with animals and stuff like that. So and I could buy all the expensive shoes I wanted to, Shelley. I had all the labels.
Of course. Awesome shoes. So
They're my favorite thing.
of course. So who or what motivated you to go into business, to leave that business and to do your own?
Divorce. So when we got divorced, my husband took the company. So I got left, well, it's what I wanted, and I kept my property, which I live out in the country here in rural Australia. So I do all my business now here from my country property because I do wildlife caring and horses. So what motivated me to start on my own, you know, a business of my own, was the fact that I did get divorced and therefore didn't have that company anymore. I was used to earning good money. I had a lifestyle that needed good money to come through. And another thing, I needed to be at home, Shelley. So going into town, which is like a 20-minute drive, doesn't seem a lot, I suppose, if you're in a city and you're used to traveling to and fro work from work. But here in the country, a 20-minute drive. And even going into town and getting a 9-to-5 job to make me income was not going to make me anywhere near the income that I was used to and was making and couldn't sustain me. So I had to figure out a way to actually be able to stay at home doing what I love, which is with my animals and doing the wildlife caring, but also bring in good income. And so one day I'm sitting there reading a magazine, and there was an advertisement for be a life coach. And I had no idea what a life coach was, but I thought that sounds interesting because I was looking for something I could do from home here. So I rang them up, found out all about it, signed up, and lo and behold, that was the beginning of it. You're on mute again. Yeah, it's okay. I'll tell you whenever it drops out.
Keeps happening.
Well, you're back.
Okay, great. Yes, so now you have, it was a life event that caused you to go into your own business, and that does happen to many of us sometimes. And then from there, you've built it into what you really love, to do exactly what you wanted to do. I see we have, hi Chris, hi Hyacinth. Great to have these guys on, listening here to see about the transition. So tell us a little bit more about your business and, you know, what do you do really into, say, day-to-day?
Yeah, so what I do is actually, you know, as I said, I work with coaches and change makers, even authors as well. Many coaches are already authors. And basically it's about giving them some star credibility, making them stand out from the crowd. But it's actually more interesting as to how I got in that from what I was doing. You know, mining to that is quite different. And what happened is, when I became a life coach, that's all I thought I was going to be, you know, your straight life coach. So I originally started my business as a life coach for women over 35 who were starting to feel bored with life and they wanted more. You know, I wrote a book and I did everything with that, but it wasn't really taking off in a massive way. And as a way to get extra income, because I'm a master coach and had lots of coaching hours and all that sort of stuff, I was asked by Australia's, you know, one of our top coach training institutions to be one of their mentors for their new students that came through. So I would mentor and train them as well. And it was during that time when I was listening to all these brand new coaches and the student coaches, and I could hear what was going on in their mind. I could hear the same problems coming up over and over and over again. Yeah, it was all the same stuff. And I did that for 2 years. And that's when the light switched on. And I thought, what am I doing the life coaching, you know, with women for? Excuse me for a sec, I just got a cough.
That's okay.
When I had already life coached and worked with a couple of celebrities, and they actually had taught me a lot, the celebrities. So though I worked on them with mindset and stuff like that, they actually taught me a lot about what they did to get out there, build their profiles, get known, you know, get in the media. And I'm looking at these coaches and I'm thinking everything that the celebrities were doing, we can actually apply that to coaches, because most of the coaches were sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring or waiting for the email to come and hiding behind their logos. And they had no way of putting themselves out there. So that's when the light switched for me, and that was over. Yeah, from there, the life coaching to actually working with the coaches. And I thought, if I can make you coaches stars and do this the way the celebs do it,
right,
you're far better off. And that was the swipe over.
Wow. So I don't know if you have already answered that question. You might just have, but many businesses have a moment that they refer to as their big break, whether it's a story or something else. What was your big break?
It was pretty much that. It was the switch over. So once once, and I sat down, and then the idea of step into the spotlight for the coaches just came to me like that when I just realized, why aren't I showing them what I was doing with the celebrities and applying that for the coaches. And that was the biggest swap over. And then once I did that, I started getting, clients galore. The step into the spotlight idea just went with the group. And then people bought that. They weren't buying the plain life coaching, but they bought the idea that we need to know how we're going to stand out and get known and get our message out there, to a bigger and wider audience. You're on mute again, Shelley. You're back.
Right. Can I put you on the spot and ask you, is there any success story that you have that you would want to share with us from that perspective?
Yeah, I suppose, in my early days when I was actually doing the coaches, one of my success stories is reaching out to Dr. John DeMartini. So, he's very, very well known, and asking him to endorse my book, Extraordinary You, which was for that women's audience at the time. And that was fine. He said yes, and he did it. And back in those days, we didn't have to pay. And then I was able to build up a relationship with him and his team. And then 2 years later, he asked me in return to endorse his new book at the time, The Values Factor.
Wow.
So being asked to endorse Dr. John DeMartini's book made me look really good and had access to a lot of his audience because I'm in the book as an endorsee. I've got my testimonial and that there. I was on the web page for the sales of it, on the Amazon page, I was everywhere. So that really did help my list jump, people coming, checking me out, signing me out. So that I would say was a big jump for me. And it's something that I also, when my clients are ready, say we've got to now start reaching out to the influencers.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Wonderful. I'm sure our audience is hearing, and I see Chris and Bridget. Hi, welcome, Bridget, Monique. Great having you guys joining with us. So what satisfaction do you get from your work?
Look, I really do get the satisfaction of seeing coaches who nobody cared about, let's be honest, nobody cared about them. And then all of a sudden, as we start working together and they start finding ways to make people care about what they do and how they serve them, they start getting known. And that feels really good. It's not overnight. It might take a while, but it is really satisfying for me to see them grow because they grow in confidence as well. So a lot of people are too shy to do something like what you and I are doing right now. Yeah, right. And so we push them to make it, and then all of a sudden you'll start doing it so often. People are starting to come onto your calls and watch and listen them, and people start knowing who you are and what you do, and then that leads to more and more as your confidence grows bigger and bigger. And it's that growth within another person, another coach who otherwise nobody would know who they are and what they do, that gives me a lot of satisfaction. You're on mute again, Shelley.
Gotta do this.
You're back.
Okay. So what motivates you on a daily basis?
So what motivates me on a daily basis is actually upkeeping my lifestyle, which is all about my animal caring. So anyone who comes onto any of my calls or has done any work with me knows that often my kangaroos will show up in the background here. She's not here today. She's outside because it's a beautiful sunny day, but often she'll pop up in the background here. So it's very much about allowing myself the time and the space to give to the animals that I'm working with. So they are the rescued animals, which is all Australian wildlife. So it's lots of kangaroos, but also give me the time to be with my horses each day as well and my other animals and give them care. So what motivates me to go on with my business is making sure that it's bringing me the satisfaction and the income and the time balance. So I do a lot of outsourcing. so that it's not all me working in the business the whole time, because I want time to be able to, you know, feed an orphan kangaroo and care for it. I want time to be out with my horses. So that's how I work my business.
So that's where you get that.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's where you get that balance, where a lot of us are looking for that balance where you can really work hard and at the same time do what you really want to do most of the time, right?
Yeah, so it is very much about, you know, a lot of people, when they get into this industry that I work with, which is the coaches and changes makers, they come into it and they try to do everything themselves. And I'm very much about asking people to look at outsourcing as much as possible within your budget. You know, so you can get different range of outsourcing at different budgets. So it's work with your budget, don't overstretch. But that's going to help you actually build your business and keep your lifestyle balance as well. Otherwise, you're going to spend all your time in your business. And then, especially if you're a coach who's getting a lot of clients, what happens is the coaches end up doing burnout because they're available 24/7 for their clients. So another one of the things I'm very, very, you know, tight on is making sure that there is boundaries around your client access to you as well. So some parts of the day I'm on, which I think is about 4 hours a day I have for client calls, and the rest of the time is off.
Mm-hmm. So that's how you strike that balance of what is important to you. And I think it translates into any business at all, where we work until we're totally stressed out and forget the other side. And I think you, if my memory serves me right from reading your book, you were in a part like...
You're on mute again, Shelley.
Yes, I'm saying you were in a space, if my memory serves me right from your book, where you were working really hard and didn't have that balance. And now you finally, as you've shared with us, found that balance of how to really do what you really want to do at this stage in your life, which is your animal.
It's mute again.
Okay, so I'm not sure what these technical difficulties, but at least it's working with us now. So I want to get personal with you, Vanessa.
Okay.
What? Tell me a little bit about your hobbies.
Hobbies. I love being out in nature. So I love, you know, animals. I love them. They are a hobby for me as well. So I could spend all day, every day with my animals. I love hiking. I love traveling and exploring new places. I do like photography as well. So, you know, they're just some of the things that I like to do. It's all very much centered on getting outside and exploring. It's mute.
Yes.
Oh, you're back.
The traveling and the animal life and nature, which is all combined into what you really want to do. So
yeah.
This question now is 7 days, 6 nights, all expenses paid. What is your vacation destination?
One of my favorite places is going to Hawaii, and it's not just staying in Waikiki, it's actually getting out into the outer islands. So I usually go over there, and I love to rent a vacation home, you know, on the beach or somewhere for a week or two and live like a native there, you know, live like one of the Hawaiians and not live in a hotel like a tourist. So that is one of my favorite places of all time. So that's where I would be off to. It's mute again, Shelley.
I know, I said, baby, what?
It's back on mute.
That's want to stay.
You're back now. No, it's gone off again.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, it has to be chocolate. And Netflix. Like
chocolate and Netflix. So you curl up and you eat chocolate. Okay, that's great. And favorite food? What is
the favorite food? We're going back to chocolate. I can't partake in my favorite food too much, but, you know, I obviously love a night in, you know, on my couch watching a movie or something And yeah, I agree with you, Mo. Hawaii and chocolate are the best. And just sitting back, relaxing with some chocolate and a movie on my couch in the evenings, that's heaven for me. That is heaven. You're muted again.
What I'm sharing with you, you have shared with us quite a bit about your background and experiences and how you transitioned from being a 9-to-5 career person into being an entrepreneur on your own. And you're actually doing what you really want to do. So thanks, Vanessa, so much for sharing that with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us before we end the session?
I think the main thing I'd want to share about anyone partaking, leaving a job that they're feeling cramped in, which, I wasn't, technically 9-to-5 because I ran the company with my husband, so we work the hours we want to, but I was cramped in a job that wasn't me and I didn't enjoy it. So if I wasn't going to shift out of it, the universe shifted me out of it with the divorce. And though it was really, really tough to make that transition and it was scary, and in the early days, I probably wasn't making the money as an early day as a coach that I wanted to, and certainly nowhere near what I was making. This personal satisfaction of actually doing something that was more about me and what I wanted far outweighed all that. So it comes down to tenacity, resilience, and staying true to knowing what it is that you want to do, your passion. And if you can stay true to it, see, a lot of people drop out too early. I find that with anything. It's not just the coaches, but anyone who's gone off on an entrepreneurial journey. And if it doesn't work within, the 6 months that they've given themselves, they're going to drop out too early. It's like, keep at it and surround yourself with other people who are doing it that will keep you motivated and inspired. So don't try and do this entrepreneurial journey on your own, because that's when it's tough. It's muted again.
This is like my drum. Each time I'm going to speak, I have to go and unmute because it keeps shifting in and out, the technical difficulties. But thanks, Vanessa, for sharing with us. And this is basically why I created this Facebook group and this live session to interview people like yourself who've actually become successful at what you've done. Are successful at leaving your job to do what you want to do. Another time we will talk with individuals who are in their job but are really demotivated and satisfied, because it doesn't make sense for individuals to stay in that state when you're really miserable. Getting up, that's a sign. First sign. When you find yourself miserable every morning, you're getting up to go and the day is as long as ever. It's a sure sign. So we're going to be having other guests as well who will be speaking and sharing how they have transitioned, not necessarily from where they are, but somewhere else that they have. And you will hear. So stay tuned. And thank you again, Vanessa, and the audience. I see all of you guys who have jumped in. Bridget, really, really thank you. I've seen great advice, some comments, good advice. Oh, I hear about Hawaii as well, Vanessa. And the topic is interesting. Thanks a lot. Really, guys, I really appreciate your joining us, and stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.